Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of To Speak My Truth. I'm a little late today. I've been kind of in a funk, as you guys have known, so I'm so sorry for me being late, but there's no music or anything, so I'm very, very sorry about this. It's been a rough, as we all know, it's been a rough couple days, and there's a lot of information and a lot of posts, a lot of comments, a lot of things just been going on. And the one thing I do want to say is I want to be obviously that light that people see in the darkness. I hope that I promote positivity and love and unity. I hope that everyone is staying safe and understanding what this is about. And this is about not black and white, but good versus evil. Okay? And I think that's what needs to be said. I think the anger that African Americans are feeling is very valid. So I hope that everyone can pretty much do a little bit of education, reach out to your black friends, and black people, reach out to your white friends and help them understand what we're going through. Because I do think it's important. I reached out to a lot of my police officer friends, my uncle, who was a police officer in New York. Their safety is very important because they love me. They've always supported me. They've gone out of their way to support me. And I think communication and education is the key to building the bridge. So I thank you guys for joining me today. My guest today is an amazing friend of mine. She's an Antigua and Barbuda athlete, Olympian, 400-meter runner, now retired, moved on, and is doing amazing work, who I actually just spoke with about some financial support and education. And her name is Afia Charles. And so I'm going to add her and we're just going to get started. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And hope you enjoy the convo. I can't even
Hey.
Hey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Of course. I'm all over, girl. I don't know what is happening.
There's a lot going on, okay? There's a lot going on everywhere.
I literally, and of course, like my iMovie isn't working, all these kinds of things, like I've been doing this for forever, right? And it's only the good ones that I get really excited for that this shit does not work. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me right now. But how are you doing? How is everything?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really well. I am.
Good.
I was working from home for like 2 months, and I'm actually back in the office.
Oh, good. I was like, that's your house? I'm like, look how official.
Not at all. So I'm actually back in the office. So.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. What state are you in?
I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. So
I'm
that's
in
good.
Atlanta.
I mean, I'm glad that you guys are opening up and getting.
I'm not glad we're opening up, but yeah.
Well, I'm glad that a little bit of the world has some kind of, hopefully, let me see if this works now. There we go.
Oh,
ladies and gentlemen.
I get my applause. Okay.
My audience wasn't ready, and I was like, come on now. And usually, like, I'll check it, and I'm just like, yeah, it works fine. And the one time that I'm just like, I just need you to open and work, it's just like, boo-boo, that ain't happening. Not today. But I'm glad that you're doing well, and you're back to work.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm trying to get everything ready here and make sure that I'm good and ready to go. So Afia Charles is a graduate of the University of Central Florida, guys.
Yes, go nice.
She's a former Antigua and Barbuda sprinter and a 2012 Olympian. She's now the manager of neurocritical care and inpatient services at Emory Healthcare.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm killing this.
And you are. You can do research.
And adding to the list, you are now a licensed insurance and investment agent for Primerica.
Yes, ma'am.
So you are just, honestly, you're just killing it on all levels.
I'm trying.
I love that. I think it's so important to see athletes who transition well and are prospering. I think that is really, really important. And I know that we are going to get to what you do now, but I do want to talk a little bit about your track and field career because that's how we met. a little background, guys. I'm in Afia on the way to Antigua for one of the track meets, and somebody introduced us, and they were like, "Oh, Priscilla, this is Afia," and I was like, "Hey," and she was just like, "Hello." And I was like,
always.
"Oh, I'm gonna get you." And literally, as we like grew and we went on this journey and went on these track meets, I was like, "I am going to make you love me. I don't care."
It worked. It worked.
So, but again, like, we have this great relationship, and Afia is so wonderful and such a great spirit about her. And I'm so glad to interview you. And I'm really excited to get into the conversation.
Yes.
And so you obviously got your bachelor's, and then you went on to receive your master's. Did you go to UCF?
Yes, I got both degrees from University of Florida.
Okay. All right. And so, and then you got your bachelor's and your master's, and then during this time in 2012, you became an Olympian. Yes. So most people can only do one or the other, to be dead honest. Because I know in college, I was not focused. I was not as dedicated as I needed to be. What did you experience, and what was that journey like with getting an education and then balancing that professional athleticism?
So with me, I am a planner, and that's one thing my fiance cannot stand about me, because I like to plan everything to the T. Okay. So when I was in college, like, I had a calendar, an organizer. I knew what my day was going to look like. I knew what my week was going to look like. But also as an athlete, you have to make sure that you're flexible as well. So your coach can call a 7 a.m. practice one day, and then the next morning, 4:30, they're talking about, I'll come out for 5 a.m. So you have to be able to be flexible for that. So I feel like being able to have great time management, managing both schedules it's something that I still do today, and I stick with today. And I feel like that's what kind of catapulted me to where I am today in my career as a business operations manager at Emory, and also a licensed agent with Primerica.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, it's one of the things that I love about sports. And I don't understand how some people are just like, "Oh no, like, I don't want my kid to do sports." I'm like, why?
I know. It builds character.
Right?
It really builds character. Yep.
You learn so many things that you're going to need, like these life lessons that you're going to need in sports. And especially about winning and losing. And that's like one of the biggest things. But I know a lot of people, today want to coddle their kids, and it's called, what is it called? Bulldozing?
No clue.
Helicopter parents, whatever it is. They just want to
micromanaging.
Well, it's like they want to protect their kids from everything. They want to protect them, and I'm just like, my mom was like, nope. I don't think my mom ever spoke to my coach, ever, not once. I think she was just like, okay, how'd it go today? But I'm really glad that, again, that time management was able to transfer into your whole life, because, I mean, it's something that now I'm redoing in a sense. It's like, okay, now I have to know what my day looks like, but I'm 31. I wasn't doing that when I was in college.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how was your Olympic experience representing Antigua and Barbuda?
It was amazing. As you know, you're Olympian yourself, so just going into the Olympic Village, and you're seeing athletes from around the world, and these are the top athletes in their countries, you know, and then you have to remember, like, I'm the top athlete in my country, so like, we're all on an even playing field, and we all worked hard, strive, blood, sweat, and tears to get where we are today. So it was just an amazing experience. Like, that's something that I will never forget. And I make sure I notate that in my resume all the time. That gets me into the door to almost every job interview, is saying that you're an Olympian.
Isn't that the
so I know. And then just walking out for the opening ceremony, and you're seeing people like, I remember seeing Kobe there. I remember seeing LeBron, Kevin Durant, like seeing all these well-known athletes, and to know, like, we both achieved the highest level of our athletic abilities by going to the Olympics. So it was amazing.
That's so amazing. And I know that your family's from Antigua and Barbuda. Is it both your parents?
No, so my mom's from Antigua, my dad's from Trinidad.
Oh, okay. So you full on Caribbean. I got you.
Yeah.
And so what made you represent Antigua?
So my mother actually was a former Antigua Olympian as well. She ran the 1984 Olympics. So
talk about them genes. Talk about them genes. And what happened to your sister, your younger sister?
So I'll break it down. So it's four of us. So my older brother, he played sports as well, but he's competitive in his career. So he is with Primerica right now as well. He's actually a regional vice president, killing it in all the boards in Primerica. Then it's me. I ran the Olympics. My younger brother, he actually he played basketball in Canada and also coached in China. He just came back. He came back right before COVID. So thankfully, everything came back and he was safe and everything. So now he's home. And then my younger sister just got drafted to the WNBA to the Connecticut Suns. And we just all attribute that to our families. Yeah. Thank you. So, but we contribute that to our parents. Like like I said, my mom was an Olympian. My father played soccer, but we've always said we get our drive, our determination, and our hard work from my father. He came to this country at 21 for college with no money and was able to, build a family and a great lifestyle and family, for us. So we definitely contribute that to our parents.
I think that's amazing. And it's the same thing with my parents as well. And I think it's something that we do see. I think we see their hard work and their dedication and those moments where people are like, oh, I feel like that saying of they came here with no money. I'm like, have you ever moved somewhere and had no money? And you're in a country where you speak the same language. It's pretty much the same cultures in a sense. So I feel like our parents were such pioneers for what they did.
Exactly.
It took them to make our lives better is so incredible. And so I know your parents are proud of you, and I'm super proud of you just because you're such a beacon of light and happiness, but also just drive and exactly what a strong Black woman is. And it's incredible. And I'm so glad that we're friends. And so, I know that we have to talk about this transition period a little bit. So tell me why you retired.
So with me personally, I just knew my goal was after 2016, whether I make the Olympics or not, I was just going to start my career. I was running track for about 10 years. And I was like, I've done it all. I was an Olympian. I hit all my goals. Like I said, I'm a planner. I'm very goal oriented. Yeah. So I was Olympian. I was top in my conference. Basically all 4 years that I was in college, I was an All-American. So I was like, what's next for me? So next, my goal was to, become a manager in a major healthcare facility, which I am now. But that's just that's the goal. My goal was to always move on. Like a lot of athletes, one thing that they don't do well, I should say, is when they're in their sport, they solely focus on their sport. They don't think about what's life after my sport. What am I going to do when I have to hang up my cleats, when I have to hang up my spikes, or when I have to hang up my sneakers? What am I going to do? But I knew while I was in school, although I was still on top of my athletics, I made sure I was on top of volunteering. I was doing internships. I was getting my face and my name known in the business world alongside as the athletic world. So making sure, so my transition to me personally was very smooth.
Okay.
I was able to, like I said, I did internships, I did fellowships. I was in Pennsylvania for 2 years. Now I'm in Atlanta. So I always had my goal in mind. I had a plan on how I wanted to get there. And thankfully, God blessed me with the opportunity to get there. Yeah. Both,
I think the biggest thing is it's true, because when you're an athlete, you're told all your focus, all your energy, all your time, everything, your vision is on your goal, your athletic goal. And as much as that's true, and that was the thing that I took away from the Jordan documentary, was everything was basketball. There was nothing else that distracted him. It was just basketball. But in today's society, you can't just do that unless you're making millions of dollars in your sport. There's no way. You have to have a side hustle. You've got to figure out another way of income or another strategy to make it all work, which is why social media is so important for athletes.
Exactly.
Yeah. And speaking personally, I'm like, I have to manage my brand as well as make sure my training is number one on top of being a wife. And so And then now things like this come up, and now you have like COVID, and now you have the protesting. And so now you know, there's these different hats that you always have to wear. And I feel like this is the perfect time, if anything good came out of the Olympics being postponed, is to give people time to now be like, okay, I don't have athletics. Now what?
Exactly.
And that's it.
Exactly.
And for me, I didn't have time to do an internship when I was in college. Was your internship like okay with, and knowing that you were training for the Olympics?
Yeah, so with and I made sure that that was always my forefront. Like I said in the beginning, like knowing that I was a student athlete, and I always made it known, like, listen, I'm a student athlete, so I have certain restrictions or, you know, limitations when it comes to my time and my availability. And of course, a lot of doors were closed to me because of that.
Yes.
But if you're determined, you're motivated, you know, you have a plan and you have a goal, then you just have to keep knocking on those doors until one of them opens. And that's what I did. So even if I was volunteering one time out of the week or internships, you know, 20 hours out of the week, I still made that time and took that time, you know, to take that extra step and to do that.
Did you ever feel like you were overwhelmed or exhausted? I know you plan. I know that, like, that's your thing. And when you plan, you really don't get stressed. And that's the one thing I hate about my husband. He plans and plans. He's like, I'm not stressed. I'm trying to buy stress-free lotion. I'm trying to buy the oils. And he's just like, why are you so stressed? I'm like, are you kidding me? So did you ever feel like overwhelmed or stressed when you were balancing all this?
Definitely.
Okay.
I feel like you can plan as much as you want, but things are, like you said, things are not always going to be like you plan. So you can plan, but at least you have a plan B. Okay. Or you have, you know, you're always setting yourself up for different scenarios. So, but of course you're stressed as a full-time athlete and an elite style athlete. So, you know, like there are still going to be pressures on the track. You're still nervous. You're still trying to get, you know, reach your optimal capabilities on the track. But then on the back of your mind, you're like, I know my track career is not going to last forever. I got to make sure that I'm setting myself up, you know, for the future. So it's just, you know, just I mean, you're always going to have that pressure, but as an athlete, we're made for that. Like pressure is nothing to us. Like I love pressure. I strive in pressure.
I love it. I know.
So it was something that I was just like, all right, well, let's just do it. Let's just figure out a way to get it done. And that's what I did.
It'll all be good in the end. And it's very, very true.
Ma'am.
And now working on your full-time job is, being the manager of neurocritical care and inpatient services at Emory Healthcare. Was that like your dream job?
So this is a step towards my dream job. Okay. My dream job in healthcare would be like a vice president of operations. So that's like my ultimate goal. But right now, this is a great step towards that. So I work alongside the VP of operations for Emory. So we work on a lot of projects. So just, you know, getting myself into those rooms and knowing those people and talking to those people, picking their brain, that is, you know, huge for me. It's, you know, that's my goal when it comes to my healthcare career.
Now, I don't want to touch too much on this. I said it in the beginning of the show. We are going through a very difficult time as African Americans and Black people as a whole. And in your profession, do you see a lot of African Americans that are in your, tier?
So surprisingly, one thing that drew me to Emory specifically is how diverse it is. When I was in Hershey, Pennsylvania, I would be in rooms when I am maybe the only Black person in the room. And I was an administrative fellow, so I was in the room with like vice presidents, presidents, CEOs, and it would just be me and one other Black person. And that was something that I'm happy I experienced that, because I know how to, I was able to learn how to not really conduct myself, but I was able to, that helped me understand who I am as a person. Because sometimes you walk into those rooms and people are looking at you like, what is this, this little Black girl doing in this room? But one thing that drew me to this organization is the amount of African American leadership. I'm not even the only, so I have my counterpart. She's African American. She's a manager as well.
Okay.
And I see a lot of African American leaders and
Mm-hmm.
directors and administrators here, and that's what kind of drew me to it. And especially, and you know, Atlanta is, you know,
Yes.
essentially the Black capital of the United
Yeah.
States. A lot of entrepreneurs and Black leadership here, so that's kind of what drew me here. But I was able to get that experience with me being the only Black person in the room early in my
Yeah.
career. So now I know whether I'm the only Black person in the room or I'm not, I know how, you know, to be myself, my unique self, my authentic
Mm-hmm.
self, no matter what situation I'm in.
And do you feel that now that you've experienced that, like in Hershey, PA, obviously, there's always going to be these pockets. Do you feel like it's beneficial to have people like you to open the doors in places like that?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. And I, one of my mentors there, his name was Ron Cummins. He was an African American male at Hershey. He was my mentor. So when I would there has been times when, like I said, it was very awkward going to rooms when you're the only Black person and people looking at you, challenging what you're saying, challenging, you know, your thoughts. Like I remember a time I broke down. I went into his office and he was like, you know, he was like telling me like, listen, this is what you're gonna have to face, but you have to continue to be confident in yourself, in your abilities, in your knowledge, and prove to them that you belong there. And that was my goal from there. I have to prove to them I belong here. If I have to, you know, raise my hand and say something that's out of pocket or ask a stupid question, I need to know this stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's no such thing as a stupid question for me as a fellow or somebody who's learning, because I know that I want to be where you are one day, or I want to take your spot one day. So if I'm not asking these questions because I'm scared of how you're going to view me, or I'm scared of how you're going to look at me, or, you know, whatever, it's not beneficial to me. So having that mentor while I was there was crucial.
I'm really
glad. I
glad.
definitely believe we got to open the door for more of us in there.
I think that's what you're doing, and I love that about what you're doing, because in these times, I feel like one of the biggest things is we got to play the long game in a sense, and I feel like I think education is the biggest way to do that, because we need to become CEOs, we need to become managers. You've got to see us everywhere, and I think what you're doing is phenomenal. And I think you're going to allow so many African Americans and Blacks are going to see you and be like, you know what? She did it. She was able to conquer this. We can get through it too. But I think as Blacks, we need to understand that it's not going to be as easy. And nothing worthwhile is ever easy, you know? So there are going to be people that are judging you and saying things, or just trying to poke that and like dig into you. But as long as, you know, you show your strength and you show that you're not going anywhere and you know your shit, I think we'll be knocking down a lot more doors, and you'll see a lot more CEOs. And it's in these little pockets. It's not, you know, the CEO of Amazon or these big, you know, like these ginormous $1 trillion. It's the healthcare profession. Everybody's going to need healthcare at some point. Like everybody goes to the doctors, everybody needs something. So I feel like if they see more of us, it will bridge that gap a little bit. And so I appreciate what you're doing. And that's going to segue perfectly into Primerica, because it's one of the things that I'm not good at. Finances, I'm not good at. Money, numbers, all that stuff. And my husband is very, very good at it. And we work together in our finances. We sat down before we even got married. We went over all of our bills, all of our debt. And I mean, God willing, thankfully, I was learning it as before, like we met and everything. But it was still something that I was just like, okay, now we're married, we're good. How do we invest? How can I, as one African-American woman, Black woman, get ahead financially? And so that I can help the education system and do the things that I want to do, giving back. And so when you called and I saw like all your stuff, I was like, I need education. I need to be educated in this. And I know that's what you wanted to do. And so us working together and you doing the presentation, I took out time out of my day because it was important to me. It was just as important as a Netflix movie, as going for my workout, as, you know, my daily goal list was to meet with you. So if you could just explain what Primerica is and what you do for Primerica.
Great question. And I know that you mentioned earlier that a lot of people, we want to be CEOs, and, you know, a lot of people, Black people want to be CEOs, but sometimes we need to be CEOs of our own finances. We got to make sure that we are financially independent. A lot of people, and especially African Americans, we were not educated on what to do with our money. When we're in school, you are learned trigonometry, you're learned algebra, but nobody tells you what to do with your paycheck. When you buy a car, you get a manual on what to do with your paycheck. Hey, Ken.
What up?
when you on your clothing, it tells you your wash cycle, how to wash your clothes, but nobody tells you what to do with your paycheck. And as African Americans, we need people who can educate us, and not even African, everybody. We need people who can educate us on what to do with our money. And that's something that Primerica taught me. So my father has been in the business for well over 20 years. He's a senior vice president in Primerica. This is something that I do part-time, but one thing that Primerica means to me is just really understanding how I can manage my money. How can I take advantage of my finances and my money? A lot of people are so dependent on their jobs for a lot of things. So let's say pre-COVID, right? Right now, there's 40 million people who are unemployed. 40 million. Pre-COVID, if you ask those people, do you have life insurance? Do you have a 401k? Or do you have an individual retirement fund? They'll say yes, through my job, right? Let's fast forward to now. These people, 40 million people, don't have jobs. So what are they doing? Where's their life insurance? They don't have any. So if anything was to happen to them, how would their families be able to provide financially? As you can see, GoFundMe's are the new life insurance policies. Every time somebody dies, they're doing a GoFundMe account. Why? Because nobody has life insurance, or they had it through their job, or they just didn't have it in general. And when they passed away, their major assets, like their house, their car, any land that they have, are being seized because they did not properly prepare. So I try to educate people. It's okay to have life insurance through your job. That's great. But make sure you have a policy or an investment or anything that you have full control over. So if you ever lose your job, your family is still financially intact. If anything was to happen to you,
even knew that. I don't even think that people knew that that wasn't even an option. Because for me, I'm just like, I thought everybody had it through their job. So I was like, I don't understand how insurance agents like have jobs, like, because everybody has it through their job. Because because I wasn't educated in things like this. Because I mean, as an athlete, why you're not thinking about this
at all?
Like not even like 2%. So I love that you brought that up, because again, yes, you can have these options outside of your job.
Exactly. Yep. And these are all things, like I said, that you will control. So a lot, and I always like to base this off of, or reach out to entrepreneurs. A lot of entrepreneurs, they own their own business. So they probably don't have life insurance.
Nope.
They probably don't have 401ks, but this is how I educate them. I can provide you that. You know, I can help, I can educate you on how to get life insurance. I can educate you on how to start a 401k plan, or a self-employed plan, a SEP 401k, which is a separate, 401k or a retirement plan just for people who are self-employed. You know, so those are like things that I offer: college funds, mutual funds, things like that.
Yeah.
Does being self-employed count for like an Uber or a Lyft driver, or no?
Well, it depends on. Well, when I say self-employed, I mean these is based on your business. So if you're a contractor with Uber or Lyft, then you know you're under that corporation. But you can still have, you can still have an individual retirement fund, but it doesn't have to be a set plan. It's something that or a self-employed plan is something that you can still control. So you use like mutual funds and things like that.
So something like what I do so I have my own cleaning business, and I love it, and I'm about to get an LLC for it and stuff. But at the end of the day, I was just like, I don't know, like, God forbid, like if he loses his job, we're screwed. Like, you know what I mean? And so like, because he's a teacher, it's all through his job. And so it's something that we definitely want to learn more about. And if you guys don't know, we are going to work with Primerica and Afia. She will be our little agent and our advocate because we don't know, and she does. And I'm going to trust a professional with what they do.
And more importantly, it's a friend.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Someone who's got your back.
Yep.
I'm on the stool.
I know. How did you get the other chair? Oh my God. I'm sorry. So keep going with what else you can do with Primerica.
So, and then also, not only do I use Primerica as an educational tool, but like I said, I do Primerica part-time. So for individuals who are looking for part-time income or just looking to understand the financial concepts that we're not taught in school, that's what Primerica does. I use that as a tool, as an educational tool for me. Like I said, I work full-time in healthcare, but this is something that I work in a corporation, but I don't want the corporation to control my benefits and control how my money is being spent and how my money is being invested. So Primerica has taught me the tools to say, okay, whenever I leave a job, I know to take my 401k with me. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people jump from job to job to job and leave their money with their job. If their job was to ever go bankrupt, they lose that 401k. So I try to educate people, hey, have you left a job with full benefits in the last year? Oh, yeah. I was like, okay, did you take your money with you? Oh, no, it's still there. Why is that? Would you leave your money with an ex? You wouldn't do that, right? So why would you leave your money with your employer? So I educate people on how to roll over their money from various 401ks, putting into a retirement plan that they have full control over. I encourage people to, like I said, get your own life insurance policies. Your job is not guaranteed. Everybody used to say, government jobs are, guaranteed jobs. What happened? The government had a shutdown last year. So, and as you see with COVID, things can change in a blink of an eye. So if you don't have control of your finances, then you're not financially free. So that's how I try to educate people on.
And I love that because it's one of the goals of my life is to be financially free. And most people are like, oh, I want to be rich. I'm like, I want to be wealthy. There's like, for me, I want to have a wealth of knowledge of where my money is, how it's working for me. And so, I mean, we have plans for the next 10 years. And I think it's really like, and these are the things, these are the steps that we need to take. And especially during this time where everybody's home, you have time to educate yourself. This is the time to really educate yourself with where your money is, what it's doing for you. Because again, we're getting upset like these billionaires are staying billionaires because they had the education of where their money is.
Their money's in the global economy.
Yeah, right. We're mad at Bezos because he made $28 billion last year.
And he's a douche. But other than that, yes, we mad about that. But again, they were educated in these things. And so I'm really, really glad. And I hope you guys can reach out to Afia. I will put an actual post right after so you can reach out to her and just get the knowledge and the wealth of knowledge for yourself and to be financially free, and something that I truly believe should be on everyone's goal list. And yes, it's a little bit difficult and you do have to take a step back because again, we're living on one income right now and my little odds and ends that I'm doing here and there, but we are investing because it is a long game. It's it's where if God forbid anything happens, we know we'll be okay. And I think financial knowledge is just what the world needs. I think especially for African Americans and for even high schoolers who have no idea what's happening. College kids, where your money is going. That's the perfect time. And so I love what you're doing. I think it's great. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
My last note is, before you get to your question.
Oh no, Ken's Corner. Ken, don't give me a hard question.
I got
my
like
goodness.
5 of them in the chamber. I don't know which one I'm going to use yet, though.
Uh-oh.
I've been thinking about it all day.
I want to lastly congratulate you on your engagement and you getting married next year. That's so exciting. I just went through it, so we are so excited.
Thank you.
How has planning been?
It's going well. I'm not stressed yet.
Okay,
but
good.
It's crazy because my date was going to be this. I was actually thinking about getting married this June. So I'm so thankful I changed it because I would have been.
You would have been livid.
Yes, livid. So my date is 4-3-2-1, the countdown. So April 3rd, 2021. We're doing well though. We have our wedding planner. We have our venue. We have our caterer. So now what we're just waiting for. We're going to Orlando next month to look at decor, floral decor, and to really see how we want to transform the space, our venue space.
Okay.
So it's happening. It's
Yay.
happening. So I'm going
We're
to have
so
to call you
excited.
guys for some advice, some wedding advice, and how it is living together and blending.
It's
So
it is a blend.
yeah.
It is.
Honestly, I mean, I've been like, oh, I've only been married a year, but almost a year. We are truly,
Oh my goodness! Already?
August, yeah.
August,
August.
yeah, is our anniversary.
Oh
It's
my gosh!
crazy. Like I'm in shock. I'm like, it doesn't even feel like a year, but we definitely enjoy this time. And where most people are getting divorced and starting fights, I feel like we're just learning about each other and we're talking. We're really keeping open communication, and especially during this time, just he's a history teacher, so he knows the education of Black people. So he's, educating me, and I'm letting him know how I feel on a daily basis and what's going on. So we really respect each other in that aspect. And
That's awesome.
I mean, the only thing that he's annoyed with is that all the projects that I've been planning. I'm like, let's do this. Let's add this to the house. Let's do this. And he's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
So we finished the first one?
Yes. I've done everything that I set out to do.
She doesn't.
Oh, that's good. Look at you.
Yeah. She doesn't start plan B until plan A is done, and then plan C.
Okay.
So she goes in order, which is nice. It's not just 5 projects at once. I'd lose my cool. I'd freak out.
But I do, like, I want to, like, test the waters. Like, I'm like, ooh, I can redo our bathroom. And he's just like, but can you? I'm like, yes, I can. So little things like that. But marriage is, you've been with your man longer.
I know. It's been a while.
Then we were engaged and married. So you guys have a lot. If you guys have a question for Afia, just write it in and we'll get to it because we're about to wrap up this little session. But I'll get to your question. But I'm very, very glad. I'm glad the planning's going well. I mean, you're a planner, so I knew you were going to have it under control. For me, I was just eloping and I was like, crap, I have so much to do. So, but you're going to be great. And again, if you need anything, we're always here, of course. So we're going to get to the portion that everybody loves, is Ken's Corner.
Oh, man.
Alrighty then. So, my Ken's Corner question for you today is, if tomorrow you woke up 8 years old, but with your still adult body, what would 8-year-old do in a grown-up's body?
What? Okay, that's totally caught me off guard.
So it's like Freaky Friday almost.
I know.
Yeah, it's like big.
What would I do if I was 8 years old? Did I have the same mindset as an 8-year-old?
So you have an 8-year-old, you think you're 8 years old, but you're in your adult body.
I don't know.
I think I'll try to drive. But
really?
it'll be my first time driving. So like,
well, right now, I probably would try to go into a club or something. Because I'm like deprived. And go party or something because I haven't been out in months. I can't tell you the last time I've been out. Maybe January.
I know.
So probably just to go out and have fun with friends. That's probably what I would do.
I would love to see how
you're the
you
one adult in Chuck E. Cheese, right? Because you're 8 years old in your headset, so you might have like the overalls or something.
Oh my God. I love it.
I was a mess at 8 years old. I couldn't dress. I looked a mess.
I think we all were. I think today are the only 8-year-olds that are like look good and like get together.
Like, 8. You're 8.
I'm like, nah, I did not look like that at 8 at all. The flat iron wasn't even invented. The flat iron wasn't even invented. Like, I'm not. Like,
you had the hot comb.
The hot comb.
Burning your ear right there.
Oh God. Okay. Last question is, how did she meet her handsome fiance?
Oh, how did I? So we met in college. So we met freshman year in college. He played football and I ran track. And my roommate was one of his old classmates in high school. So he was coming down to visit her. And I was like we shared a room. So I was on one side of the dorm and she was on the other. So I guess he walked in, he saw me on that side. And then he like came over and was trying to talk to me. I was like, I'm not interested. And then I wasn't interested at first. And then he was so persistent. When I said, like, one time my god sister was visiting, he knocked on the door and she opened the door and she was like, and I was like, it's probably Torian. And then she was like, he likes him. I was like, no, do you think so? She was like, yeah, he does. And what got me was it was raining one day in Florida and he was standing outside my class with the umbrella waiting for me to come because we had to walk because we didn't have cars then. And ever since then, I was like, oh, he got me. He got me. He was just so persistent. Yes. He was always a gentleman. He was always so sweet. He had a hard exterior for everybody else, but inside he's amazing. So met freshman year in college, been together almost 10 years. November's going to be 10 years. I know.
What?
It's well overdue. We should have gotten married like 10 years ago.
No. Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time. That is amazing.
Yep.
That is so incredible. How tall is he?
He is 6'4".
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'5".
Yeah.
So he is my protector for sure. My shield.
Your pictures are so cute. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
I am so proud of you. Thank you so much for being on the
Thank
show.
you for having me. This is great. I was so nervous before this, but
I know.
Everybody is.
Everybody always is. They're gonna be like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I've never been live before.
Either. Yeah.
I'm like, trust. You know me. I'll have a conversation and then I'll like you wholly forget. Like, oh shit, yeah, we are live. That's what we got. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll definitely be talking again soon. He hasn't gotten the email yet either, so we have to figure that out. But but we're good. But we're all in and we're ready to go.
Okay, I'll just send another way. I got you though.
Thanks, Bill. We appreciate it. I love you, and we'll talk soon.
Love you too. Thanks. Bye, Ken.
Later.
Bye. Bye. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Again, we're really we met with Afia through Zoom, and she explained everything to us, and it was really, really important, the financial knowledge and the education of where your finances go and how to use them and how to invest, things that we didn't know. And so when she explained it, it really helped us. So I appreciate her and all of her knowledge. Again, I hope that everyone is staying safe and doing well tomorrow. Sorry, guys. Just a note. I know, because it just keeps tilting. Tomorrow I have Liz, which is part 2. We're doing kind of like a 21 questions. She has questions for me, and I have questions for you. So for her. So I'm very, very excited about that. Join me tomorrow, 7 p.m. to speak my truth.
Nighttime.
I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Later, guys.